Okie dokie. Are y'all ready?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Welcome to the Book Talk Babes podcast, where we will be discussing different book-related topics and occasionally specific books. This episode will contain explicit language and may contain spoilers, so please check the episode description for a list of books that were spoiled. My name is Ashley, and today I'm joined by my two lovely friends, Elaine
Hello.
and Liana.
Hi.
As always, welcome new listeners. Thank you, returning listeners. So, in celebration of National Cow Appreciation Day, we have a Smutty special. 2 books in one episode. Was it Get In, Babes? We're going Minotaur riding.
Oh my god.
Liana, when I tell
Minotaur
you
writing.
these books were
Uh-huh.
fantastic.
Yes.
Oh. Good.
Absolutely fantastic.
Now, I gotta ask before we start.
Yes.
Will our vegan audience appreciate this?
So it's funny that you bring that up because Clutch My Pearls, I haven't listened to the episode that they did on Morning Glory Milking Farm yet because I hadn't read it. But I guess during that episode, they jokingly asked the question if, like, this would be considered vegan. And because the Minotaurs are willingly providing the goods,
Okay.
a vegan wrote in and said that they would consider that vegan because the Minotaur is
Oh.
willingly supplying.
So it's a consensual animal byproduct.
Yes.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yes. There you go.
Okay.
So I don't know if all vegans will feel that way, but that particular vegan felt that way.
It's okay.
Okay.
I know that like some vegans have exceptions. Like one of my vegan friends, you know, she's very committed to being vegan,
Mhm.
but she makes exceptions for bugs because she like freaks
Oh,
out around bugs.
I see. I was like, bugs? She
Yeah.
eats bugs? I get what you're
but,
saying now.
Like, yeah, animal life is sacred, but she like hates bugs, like hornets and roaches, and she's like, I kill them all.
Honestly, I only kill, like, most of the spiders I like catch and release, or I very much have the, like, if they're not bothering me, I won't bother them. But
Yeah.
if it is a brownish spider and I can't identify if it's a brown recluse or not, unfortunately, those get sacrificed.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, I'm not dealing with roaches.
Yeah. I'm not.
No, yeah, roaches.
No roaches.
Which fair.
No roaches, no deadly or poisonous
Yeah.
things.
Scorpions, no.
Oh,
Yeah,
fucking
no.
hate scorpions. My mom just got stung on the hand the other day while she was sleeping.
Ow.
I'm like, no thanks. Okay, so we have Morning Glory Milking Farm and A Blue Ribbon Romance, a book report by Elaine and Ashley.
It's been a while since we've done one
It
of
has.
these. I'm excited.
I looked back and I was like, oh my God, we haven't done this since like I think like episode 14 or something.
Okay.
I know.
Hmm.
I wasn't expecting
because
that.
I think we were under the wrong impression that we would get to A Little Life. And,
There was that, and then there was also I don't count the Clucanian episodes as smutty specials.
No.
Since I feel like we take those pretty seriously. Which
we love our Clucanian boys.
Yes.
Like we can't help it.
I will say right off the bat though, I'm into this world that this author has created.
Yes.
Okay.
Hold on one second. Okay. Ready, Elaine?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh my god.
This picture is taken from.
I mean, I will know, but oh my god.
You'll find out. This picture was taken from the author's Instagram page. This isn't a summary necessarily of this book, but it was kind of like we thought a cute little introduction to
Mm-hmm.
the world that she has built, to the series. So, welcome to Cambric Creek, where the neighbors are a little unconventional and the full moon affects more than just the night sky. Sexy werewolves, adorable mothmen, and randy minotaurs welcome you to settle in and make yourself at home. Are you tired of the typical run-of-the-mill romances featuring the boring Chad next door? Are you longing for a bit of fang and claw in your love story? Maybe a few tentacles for good measure. Do non-human/human love stories with a scorching heat level and a lot of heart get your pulse pumping? If so, then set a trap for love with monster bait.
It's gonna come out that Elaine is actually the author of this whole thing.
Right?
I wish, but no. I wish I was that creative to
Oh my gosh. When you
come
said
up with a
tentacles,
story.
you are. You are.
You totally could. You totally
You
could.
could do it.
If we all three accomplish anything by, I don't know, in a couple years, we're all three going to have written a book or something.
40.
That'd be
say
cool.
40.
By 40.
We're all 33 now.
This is true. We got some time.
No, but when you said tentacles, it made me think of that one guy. I don't know his name. Of course, it's like always one guy on TikTok. But there's this one guy on TikTok. He has a bionic arm, but he has like different attachments that he like plays with, and he has a tentacle attachment.
Oh my
goodness.
He's very popular with Book Talk.
Yeah, he is.
I can see
oh my
that.
goodness.
And then I just saw one of his TikToks. Like TikTokers will like do a video with their younger selves or whatever. And his younger self is like, "Did we do it?" And he's like, "Do what?" He's like, and the younger self is like, "Did we do it? Did we get one?" And his current self is like, "Get a bionic arm? Yeah, but people prefer the tentacle." And then his younger self is just confused.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah. That's us.
That's funny. Alrighty.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
I just realized, Elaine, we didn't really discuss who was going to read what.
No, that's fine.
Do you want to read this one?
Sure. So this is the first one. It's Morning Glory Milking Farm. The author is CM Nascosta.
Yeah, the audiobook said Nascosta.
Nascosta. Publisher Medusa Editorial. This was published in 2021, and the number of pages is 255. So it's a pretty...
Oh, that's a good size book.
It's a good size, fast read.
Yeah.
Yep.
I also forgot to mention the slide before this. That picture we took from the author's page is a like a old school glass milk bottle with a woman putting on black gloves.
Those snappy latex gloves.
Yes.
Yes.
And the picture on this one is the cover for Morning Glory Milking Farm. So it's got the Minotaur and it's got her in like a milk pail.
Yeah.
I think there's cows in the background.
I think the second cover. I think the first photo that you saw, that's what was part of the cover originally.
Oh, okay.
And then she redid the cover. And this is what she did.
Okay.
And I like it because it
Okay.
gives you that old school, like, mass market paperback romance
Yeah.
It
vibes,
does.
but with, like, a Minotaur.
yeah.
Yes.
It's very romantic.
Yes.
Love it.
Side
No.
note, there is nothing we as women will not read.
I agree.
Yeah.
My poor sister was like, I don't want to know what your podcast prep is going to consist of. And I was like, well, it's called Morning Glory Milking Farm. And she's like, you can stop. Just stop. And I didn't. I told her everything.
I'm glad.
Or I told her the
More
gist. She was just like, oh my God. Okay, so we're also going to discuss, I don't know if you'd call this, like, it's not like the second book. It's like 1.5 because it's the same story just from his point of view instead.
Yeah, because the first one was just all her point
It's
of view.
all her point of view. So this one's titled A Blue Ribbon Romance. Same author, obviously, and publisher. Copyright is 2023 and number of pages is 266. And I think even in she has like an author's note in the beginning of this one that was like talking about revisiting this story because I guess a lot of people when the first one came out like took it more as a joke than being serious.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Which I will guiltily admit, I mean, that's kind of why we picked this. I feel like I didn't take it very seriously until I read it. And then I've been converted.
In this picture, he looks like one of those Highland cows.
I know.
See,
Well, so
this is more how he's described in the first book with the like hair.
He's they always describe him as having like shaggy hair that's like always like in his eyes or in his face and whatnot. So, and he's always wearing like suit clothes.
Yeah.
Why?
Because he's a busy businessman. We'll get to it.
Okay.
He's a CEO of his own company.
Oh, so it's an office romance.
Well,
No.
They don't meet at his work.
No.
They meet at her work.
Okay.
Okay. What do you want, Elaine?
Okay. Okay, so for Violet's POV is the Morning Glory Milking Farm. Well, I guess, like you still get the information about him too, but anyways, she's human and she's like around a millennial. I think she's like 26 or something. She's very anxious. She's a coffee lover. She's an art history major.
Wow.
Liana.
Wow.
And it doesn't come out with that like at first. Like it's a little bit further in the book when you find out. And I was like,
Hilarious.
She's fascinated by his anatomy. There's so much pining. And she, in her point of view, also you get to, she wants to explore Cambridge Creek. Like she doesn't live in Cambridge Creek. So you kind of get her point of view as an outsider from this.
I forgot where she lives.
Little town. She lives in a town called Bridgerton, or a city. She lives in a city, and it's called Bridgerton.
Is it okay? Yeah, I was like, it's something with a B. I couldn't remember.
Funny.
Yeah.
And then Rorik's POV is a blue ribbon romance. He's our Minotaur. It described him being a decade older, so he's about 40, almost 40, late 30s.
It's really old for a cow,
right? You wouldn't tell or couldn't tell by his everything. He's bossy. He's a sugar addict. Everywhere they go, they always get dessert first.
Yes.
He is the CEO of his own agricultural business. So basically, he sells like farming supplies to and equipment to people. He loves her perfect tiny hands, and you get to explore Cambric Creek through his eyes as a resident. He lives there. He owns a house. It is a slow burn. Honestly, Liana, we both agreed that we think you would have liked this if you had read it.
Okay.
I mean, you're into gargoyles.
I'm getting kind of tired of the slow burns. I need something a little bit faster now.
Okay.
Well,
I will say it is a slow burn. Yeah, go ahead, Elaine.
Yeah, I mean it is a slow burn, but like you get teasers and there's like sexual fantasies that they kind of describe. So like you
Okay.
get a little
Okay.
something through the slow burn that kind of makes it not feel too much like a slow burn.
And it's not just like, it is like explicit, dirty fantasies. Let's see. Oh yeah, it's kind of grumpy sunshine. Their slogan at Morning Glory is "Get in, get out, get on with your day." And we decided it should be "Get in, get off," or he decides that that's what it should be. Get on with your day. Just like it took.
I like that better.
It took the second book for me to like even put 2 and 2 together about the glory hole thing, because when they go to this facility, there is a bench that's like padded and whatnot, and it's all set up for their anatomy and so it's comfortable, and they put their junk through this like hole, and we'll get to the rest of that here in a second.
Okay.
Okay, so I feel like they name a bunch of characters, but these are like the main ones that we circulate with, I feel like, through the both of them. I will say in the first book, or Morning Glory Milking Farm, you do get introduced to like her mom, and through her mom and the conversations she has with her mom, you know, you're like, okay, like her mom and dad live in a human only town or suburb or whatever, and her great aunt lives with them, or not her great aunt, but is it her great aunt? I can't remember if it's her great aunt or I guess it's her great aunt because it's her mom's aunt. Lives with them as well, but you don't really get much, I feel like, of them. So yeah, we got Violet, who's our main female main character. Or I should have put FMC, whatever. Our main female character. And then we've got Rorik, our main male character. And we got all these. The first photo of Violet is actual fan art that we got from the author's Instagram page, but it didn't give credit to an artist, so I have no idea who drew it.
Yeah.
And then Elaine, you found this picture of Rorik, right?
Yeah. But doesn't it give very Beast vibes from Beauty and the Beast?
It
does. I love it.
It's like, why he kind of...
You should look at some of the fan art.
Yes, the fan art is so good. And this one is from Warrior Queen 991.
I think it's 1991.
1991, yeah. And I think that's their...
Or something, yeah.
It's like their Twitter or Tumblr handle. It's one of those.
And then next we have L'Oreal and Cash. So L'Oreal is Rorik's neighbor, and she's a tiny little curvy elf. And she is dating Cash, who is an orc.
Cute.
And this artwork we also got from the author's Instagram page, but she did give the artist, which is Bloodwrit. No idea. But it's adorable and cute. And apparently they have their own little like side series of how they met and like get together and all that. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You said you were gonna probably start that, Elaine, right?
Yeah, I'll probably read that. I got it. I already got it, so we'll see.
Okay. And then we have Galus or
Mhm.
Gilly, which is Violet's vampire best friend who ambushes her in a coffee shop and basically makes her be friends with her.
Instant
That's how I
Cute.
get all my
suspense.
friends.
Right, yeah. So Violet's like standing in line at the coffee shop and Galus comes up and she's like, "Oh, hey, so good to see you. I got us a table over here." And she just like goes with it. She's never met this person before ever in her life. And she's like, "Thank you so much. I was trying to avoid talking to a coworker." But yeah, so she's a vampire. And it described her as having like platinum blonde hair with part of it shaved on one side. And this was the best photo I could find on Google.
Yeah.
And then the honorary mention of Stiff Grip Sally,
Oh,
which we'll get to here in a second.
okay.
I do like to say I think Gilly also like and Violet kind of become friends too because they work in very similar like industries as well. It's kind of
Yes. Yeah, Violet, or sorry, not Violet. Gilly works at a vampire restaurant that, if I remember correctly, they like take blood from donors, right?
Yeah, I think they take blood
Or something like that.
from human donors.
Okay, let's go back. How do we go back? Okay, we'll just leave it on this page while we discuss. So, do you have any questions so far for us, Liana?
No, I'm ready.
Okay. So, this starts off very relatable, I feel like, for the majority of people, where Violet is living in an apartment. Like, her job doesn't pay worth a shit. She can't get a job in her field. She talks about getting her degree, and then after she was done, finding out that basically in that time it took her to get her degree, you need a master's degree to do anything. So she went back to school to get her master's, and then when she got out, still couldn't get a job that would pay worth a shit. So I don't know if she was actively job searching or not,
Yeah.
but a job at Morning Glory Milking Farm popped up for technicians, and she didn't know what it was.
This sounds way
But
too familiar to my life.
right. So the job it pops up. They don't really go into much about it other than like you get, full benefits and all this kind of stuff. Pays really great. So she goes to like an orientation where like they watch instructional videos on what they're going to be doing, and she finds out that it's a pharmaceutical company that uses Minotaur jizz for erectile dysfunction meds for humans. So basically, they make Viagra out of Minotaur spunk. And she's kind of shocked, I think, at first, because like they show like an instructional video like in a room with everybody that's there for a job. And it's
Yeah.
literally just fucking Minotaur like walks into the collection room, pulls out his massive junk, and the lady that's like telling them what they're going to be doing starts like jerking him off.
And they couldn't get machines for this.
So yeah.
I think you learn more about why they do this in the blue ribbon. I think he kind of goes more into it because he also does an orientation.
Yes.
For this company as well before becoming like a member to regularly donate. And like there's other facilities like this, but it's just one of those ones where you just go into a booth and they put in like a sucker and that's it. But this company, Morning Glory, finds that they'll get more if they do a little bit more.
Yeah, if they do some personal stimulation before they attach the milking mechanism.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, Morning Glory Milking Farm doesn't have just any sort of nozzle sucker thing. This one's like textured inside and supposedly is a more advanced hose attachment.
Interesting.
He also mentions in A Blue Ribbon Romance that like going to these facilities are basically like a rite of passage. Almost. So like all of them do it at some point or another.
Yeah, it's like a coming of age kind of thing for Minotaurs.
And
like,
well,
it's
wait, hold on though. You just said coming of age.
Pun not intended, but perfectly placed, Elaine. That was excellent.
I didn't even catch that.
I didn't either. But yeah, so they all do it at some point or another, and basically I think the mindset is like I felt like it made it out like the Minotaurs have like crazy sexual appetites, so they're gonna be jerking off anyway, so might as well get paid for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Morning Glory Milking Farm definitely, like, I can't remember which book they talk about it in, definitely produces a lot more from the Minotaurs with that extra personal touch.
Okay.
But yeah, she goes home and like you get all this information before you actually accept a job offer. So you know exactly what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah.
And so she goes home and you have like 24-hour access to like the portal, and she just like watches and rewatches the instructional video like over and over and over again. Because if she's, what is it, her and her mom say, if there's a job worth doing, it's worth doing right. And she's like, I want to go in on my first day being like prepared.
Yeah.
I mean, not gonna lie, it's probably something I would do too, because I want to make sure I give a good impression.
Right.
Yeah.
They can tip the Minotaurs.
Yeah.
If you do a good job, they'll leave you a tip after their appointment if they enjoyed the service. But I will say she accepts the job, and she has like 2 weeks of training where she shadows somebody, and they're like, you walk in your civilian clothes and you change into scrubs, and you have like gloves on and like a little head covering and a mask that covers like the lower half of your face, like super clean, sterile, like it has an autoclave machine, like PPE out the ass.
I mean, you have to make sure the product is good, I guess.
Yes, this is true. This is true. Each client has a file with like preferences and things that they like. I did write down all of the classifications that the workers have given them to different clients. So there's the earners.
Okay.
Who they can account for like every drop, and they earn almost a second income by going into this facility.
Damn.
And they'll basically like predict before they go in like how much that bottle is going to be filled.
Predict.
Yeah. There's the pop and goes, who visit infrequently and almost ejaculate immediately when the milking machine nozzle is applied. So basically these guys like talk a lot of shit and like a lot of game, like, oh, I'm going to do this, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Or am I not the biggest Minotaur you've ever seen?
Yeah.
Or some shit like that. And then, yeah, they basically come their pants before they even get their pants off.
I'm familiar.
Yeah. Right? There's the clock watchers, who are usually businessmen and always ready to get on like with the next thing. It's very transactional. Like they don't react all that much to whatever's going on. They're the ones that are like, get in, get out, get on with my day.
Yeah.
Okay. Respect.
And then there's the good little cows that like the fantasy of being milked, and they have scrub requests. So they have 2 separate scrubs that they can request if they're into this little fantasy, where it's either like scrubs that look like denim overalls
Oh my god.
or an alpine milkmaid.
Wow.
And they like the role playing when they're there for their appointment as well. Which I found really funny because like the lady she trains with is like, you know, it's very transactional. It's not very sexual for them, like because of how we have the environment and blah, 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 blah. And even though, you know, we are helping with stimulation, you know, it's not a like sex work is basically how they they talk about it.
Why can I only think of like Ferdinand the Bull?
Oh no. Maybe that's what inspired this.
That poor little Ferdinand and the flowers.
And of course, while all this is happening in her book, I feel like in his book, he's just talking about like going in for orientation and like has a medical examination where they, you know, I think he tells her like they weighed like each individual ball
Yeah.
on like a little scale
Okay.
and like felt them for how like
Squish.
dense or squishy they were.
I was gonna say abnormalities, but
Yeah, basically they want healthy minotaurs.
yeah. Okay.
But then you get a free you get blood work and then you get a free session
Mm-hmm.
to see how much you produce.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's one of the guys that donates.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought he was like the boss of this operation.
No.
Okay.
No.
The farm is owned by
Humans.
I don't think it's
believe.
I don't know if it's humans or if it's just some other like creature. Like she's the
Mhm.
only human at the time that she starts. She's the only human that actually works there.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
There's a
But I
few
feel
other
like-
like humanoid people, but they are definitely something other.
Yeah. I think like the big boss people of this pharmaceutical company farm is human, but they have non-human workers
Yeah.
working that facility.
I know he has his test run, and I feel like it's his very next trip is when he shows up and the lady training her is like, oh, I have a trainee in with me. Like, she's going to be taking care of you today. So her very first, like, actual hands-on experience is with him.
Hands
Yes.
on.
And yeah. And of course, he is like, oh, great. Like, a trainee. This is going to be horrible. And she blows his mind, basically. And like he gives her $100 tip,
Okay.
and she gets all hot and bothered by it. And like she gets so hot and bothered by it, she has to like go home and immediately take care of herself. Like, she's like, I need to leave now. So like I feel like that's when like our first like daydream sexual fantasies start.
Mm-hmm.
And I listened to this book at work. And usually I am very unaffected.
Yeah.
But like I told Elaine, me and Elaine had a separate video chat while we were making the spreadsheet or the slideshow. Why do I keep calling it a spreadsheet? Damn it.
You're doing that yesterday.
I did it
too.
the whole time. Oh my God. The slideshow, I was telling Elaine, like, this book, I joked with like my husband. I was like, I should have brought like puppy pads to sit on at work. Like,
Oh my God.
put out a caution wet floor sign. Like, I thought like this book affected me big time. And a Blue Ribbon Romance. They both of them. I was like, I'm just gonna snail trail out of
Yes.
here.
Oh my.
Like, oh,
Not
sorry,
snail trail.
coworkers. I should have apologized at the beginning of this, Mom. When you're listening to this at 12:30 and you're driving to work, I apologize for everything that I'm gonna say.
Sorry.
Oh God.
Yeah, the chapter where she first meets him, I happened to read at work, and like, of course, like people start coming in to the break room, and I'm just like, damn it, get out of here. So then I was like, okay, this is gonna be a at-home read only now. I don't think I could do this again at work.
Yeah.
Just the fact that I could never, like, I read at work sometimes, and like it starts to get hot, and I'm like, oh, I cannot be reading.
I usually have a great poker face, but I don't know if I held my shit together very well with this one. I kept like laughing, and Mom's like, "You okay?" And I'm like, "Sure, great. I need to go home." But
Oh my God.
but yeah.
That's
So
funny.
okay. So after that first meeting, he leaves the $100 tip, and then he requests her every time. So, and like the way the requests work, like you can request a specific tech, and if they are available during the time that you have scheduled your appointment, then they'll honor your request
Okay.
or whatever.
Wait,
So
so
yes.
like, do they take them to like a doctor's office, or are they behind a screen? Like,
So they have these like collection rooms
okay.
that everyone like goes into or whatever, and they're kind of like 2-tiered. So the Minotaur is like in the top tier. So they enter the room, they can take off their clothes, they can see everything that's happening down below them. There's like some stairs or
Mhm.
whatever.
Yeah.
But they have like, it's what they call it, a mounting board, a mounting bench. And so
Mhm.
basically it's like this ergonomically designed thing for them to sit in, and then they can put their
Glory hole.
junk
Okay.
Yeah, the glory
through
hole. Yeah.
the glory hole. Yes, balls
Okay.
included. Everything goes through, and it's like a padded bench for them because some of them, end up
Yeah.
thrusting. And then the tech is like in the downstairs part where they have like lube, they have the nozzle and the collection machine, and they have like bottles, and they have like their little clipboard and stuff. So like they walk in from a separate door than the Minotaurs. So they're already on the bottom level, and they basically just like, okay, like you're here for your appointment, blah, blah, blah.
So it's like going to get a massage.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
because they ask, they even say like, let me know if this is too much pressure.
Yep.
Like, as
They sure do.
Just like, if I was on the giving end, how could I just go on with my day? I would be so sleepy.
Right? The way they describe the size of these bulls, as they call them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how your arms don't get tired.
These women must be jacked.
Yeah.
She's got to have fantastic biceps, like,
and forearms
and
grip
for
strength.
like just the whole thing. Everything's just nicely defined and chiseled. I could not. Like, I mean, think about it. She's okay. So she's the only human.
Yeah.
So I don't know if the rest of them really have this problem. But like, he specifically talks about how much he loves her tiny little hands. But she's having to two-hand these fuckers the whole time. Like, I'd be exhausted by the end of my workday.
I'd like just one.
Yeah, no, I couldn't. Now, I will say they have to, as a courtesy to the text, be semi-aroused before they start. So the texts don't have to do like all of the work. But
because I don't want to be there for like 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Yeah. He is so turned on by her though, like just the little chit chat banter and flirting that they do before he like puts himself into the bench and stuff. Like he's already rock hard. He is ready to go.
I don't know if I could do any kind of small talk before that.
It is. I will say that was absolutely hilarious. They literally just have like one of the first times. So he requested her. He's like, oh, how are you doing? And she's like, I had the worst day. And like starts talking about like incidents with like another client that she had that day and like how, he didn't give her any indication he was about to blow. And so she didn't get the nozzle on in time. So she got stuff all over her scrubs and had to change and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I hope I'm not bad luck and blah, blah, blah. All while she is working on him.
Oh my God. Yeah,
like,
no.
What?
That's like when you go to the gynecologist for a pap smear and they're like asking you how your day is while they're between your legs.
Yes. Like, can you just focus?
It's like, so what you got going on later? And you're like, it sounds like they're in a cave.
Oh God.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they flirt and both have daydreams about each other. He's like, he in his book even mentions like him smelling something and he thinks that they're like pumping like some sort of pheromones in through like the AC unit. No. He can smell her arousal because she gets turned on every time, but only with him.
Yeah,
only with him. Never any of the other clients ever get her all worked up. She starts looking up Minotaur human porn when she gets home. She buys new toys to be more appropriately size equivalent.
Okay.
Because what she's got, just not cutting it anymore. I think she even talks about like just leaving it. Oh no, that's after they start dating. She just leaves it permanently plugged in because he's such a gentleman.
Lame.
She is like ready to go, and he is just like,
but I respect.
I want to get to know you.
I want to get to know you.
No,
I think it's also because of how they met. They've already been kind of intimate, so he's like, he doesn't want her to think like, oh, I just want you. I want to actually get to know you. I do like you. And
he does say that in his book.
Yeah.
There is a little tiny bit of like miscommunication piece, which I think was brought in to create tension between them, and like it doesn't last, I feel like, very long.
No, not at all.
So I forgot to mention, he has a
bull ring.
A nose ring.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so there's this fancy coffee shop that he's like, oh, you have to try it, blah, blah, blah. And after he tells her that, he basically like stakes this place out. Like he goes all the time hoping to run into her since he suggested it to her and all this kind of stuff. Finally, he runs into her. And both of them have this moment of like, he's like, oh, like, I'm thinking about her so much. Like, I can smell like her right now. And then she's having this moment of like, he answers the phone and she's like, oh my God, I'm thinking about him so much. Like, I'm hearing his voice. And then they like realize, like, he realizes it's her. And then after that, she realizes it's him. And she, the coffee shop lady is like, oh, Rorik, you and L'Oreal need to come to the community like party that I'm having, block party. And so, of course, in Violet's head, she's like, who the fuck is L'Oreal?
He's like, who do I have to fight?
Yeah, exactly. She's like, oh shit, like he is taken. Of course he's taken.
Yeah.
And then he's like, oh, like, would you like to sit with me? And she's like, no, I'm meeting somebody, but doesn't tell him that it's Galus, the vampire. She lets him think that she's having like a lunch date with some, you know, man.
Yeah.
So he shows up for his appointment after that. And they're both very moody with each other and like snippy with each other. And she's like, so she overheard a previous appointment about the nose ring. And she's like, if you don't mind me asking, like, what does that represent? Like, what does that mean to you? And he's like, oh, it's, you know, it used to be a symbol of ownership, but it's turned more into like a marriage thing. Like you belong to somebody. And so she's in her head, she's like, this motherfucker's married, like, and keeps flirting with me. And then he's like, but I've been divorced for 2 years and I just haven't gotten it taken out.
Okay.
And then she's like,
likely story.
Yeah. She's like, so who's L'Oreal? And he's like, oh, that's my neighbor. She's an elf dating this orc guy, blah, blah, blah. We used to go to block parties together because we were the only single ones in the neighborhood. And so she's like, she starts feeling guilty. She's like, oh, crap. Like, I had no reason to freak out on him. But then she tells him, she's like, I wasn't meeting like a date. Like, it was just my friend at the coffee shop. And then they're in a right. Yeah. They're in a better mood after they leave. Decides he's going to get the bull ring out. So he schedules an appointment, has it taken out, gets his hair cut and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, I skipped over a part.
No,
His next
that happens.
Well, I know, but the next appointment after that is when she has the trainee. And he's like, I'm going to do it. And she's like, what, get your hair cut? And he's like, what? No, I'm going to get the bull ring out. She's like, oh, okay. And then that's when we meet Stiff Grip Sally, who is another human that gets a job at this place and just sucks. She is so freaking bad. Like,
oh God, that'd be so embarrassing.
Yeah, he is not happy about it. And so, yeah, that happens. That appointment's over. Then he schedules the appointment to get the bull ring out. And he comes in after he's gotten his haircut and he's gotten the thing out of his nose. He's like, I'm going to ask her out on a date. Like, it's happening. I'm going to do it. And he shows up and she's not there. It is Stiff Grip Sally.
No.
Yes. Yes. And he's like, in his book, he's like, oh my God, like she is like chafing me. This hurts. He tells her at one point, like, when Violet comes back, he's like, I thought I was circumcised almost at one point. Like, it was so bad.
Okay, but like, as a worker, I would be so embarrassed on my performance evaluation. Like,
right?
Yeah, because he's like, just put the sucker on. Like,
yeah.
He's like done with her. He's just like, just.
Yeah. At one of the appointments, he's like, can you just put the tip, but just use the nozzle. Like,
just put the nozzle thing on.
And so that's like, I don't know, 2 weeks or something of appointments. And finally he was like, where is my tech? And they're like, we can't tell you or disclose any information. But he goes, I what? No, tell me. Like, is she fired? Did she like quit? Like, they're like, no, she's just off. Like, she'll be back. And he's like, oh, thank God.
My tech.
Yeah. Which is, it's actually really sad. She's gone for 2 weeks because her great aunt passes away. Aww. And so she goes home back to her mom and dad to help with funeral arrangements. And
that's really
stuff.
good bereavement leave, though.
Yeah. Yeah. Right? I know. We get 3 days.
That's it?
Yeah. We get 3 days for bereavement.
I don't even think we get any, actually.
She comes back and then he is like, oh, thank goodness, at their next appointment. He's like, if Stiff Grip Sally walked in here, like, I wasn't going to be able to do it again.
Poor Sally.
She seems very, like, I don't know, disgusted.
Oh, then why have that job?
I know. because like when Violet's like training her, like the lady has already done 2 weeks of training, and they still are like, I'm not ready to let her go by herself. I'm gonna have her shadow you today, Violet, and whatnot. So but she is just like, Violet's giving her all these tips and telling her like what to do and this and that, and she's just like, why would I do any of that?
Because
I'm like,
you're getting paid to do it.
Yeah, I was like, did you not watch the instruction video?
It's your job.
Exactly. So he asks her out on a date, and they start dating, and he's a total gentleman, and he restrains himself all the time. He tells her like, you're in complete control, like, of everything, blah blah blah. And he's like, she goes to like pay or something on their second date, and he's like, no, what are you doing? He's like very straightforward. He's just like, listen, I'm aware we are both at different points in our like careers and all this kind of stuff. I have the means and I have the money. I am going to spoil you rotten. You are never going to pay for anything when we're together.
I like that.
Yeah. And he's like, and it's not like a transactional thing of your time. Like, I'm not paying for you to be with me, but I do want to spoil you and take care of you and whatever. So she's like, oh, okay.
I mean, I'm gonna like be like, no, don't spoil me.
That's okay. I can pay. No. But he's just like, yeah, no. You're not paying for a single thing. Let me take care of you. I want to spoil you.
It's like, how much do I owe you? It's on the house. Really?
But there's a dinner where she does not wear any underwear under her dress.
Love those dinners.
Right? So she's wearing no underwear under her dress, and I forget what she does. She does something to like tempt him, entice him, whatever.
She keeps like scooching closer and closer to him.
Yeah.
To where he'll like wrap his hand around her.
Yeah. So he puts his like arm around her, and then he ends up putting like a hand on her leg. Or no, that's right. He wraps his arm around her, and he's like got it on her waist, and he can feel like there's no underwear. He's like, what the fuck? Like, this dirty girl. So yeah, he basically starts fingering her at the dinner table at the restaurant that they're in. And I forget, after that they go up to her apartment, which is not built for a Minotaur. It's very small. And she is ready to go. She's like, fuck yes, it's finally happening. He's gonna like have sex with me and whatnot. And he's like, oh honey, like we can't have sex here. Like, one, my hooves will ruin your carpet and your covers. Like, there's not enough space for me to move around in here. He goes, but I'm gonna take care of you. And so he takes care of her. He tucks her into bed. He leaves. He also says, like, we're basically gonna need time to be able to warm you up, so I'll fit.
Like, oh honey, no, I've done my homework.
Right? You see that toy over there on the bedside?
I'm prepared.
The bedside table.
Waiting for this moment.
Right. But so he pleasures her, takes care of her, whatever, and then
he tells her to like pack a bag and bring it to work the next day.
That's right.
So they can spend the weekend together.
Yes.
At his place where there's room.
Yes.
Okay. But like, why would you let me bring you back to my apartment if you knew that you wouldn't fit?
I don't know. I think he was just kind of caught up in the moment, and then when he was like, "Oh, she like wants to go like all the way," and he goes, "No, we're not gonna do that here. It's if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it right." But yeah, so he shows up, and I have some quotes that I like highlighted and whatnot of like some of these instances. But yeah, he shows up to his appointment and all this kind of stuff, and they're like talking and flirting, and he's like, you know what? I was gonna come here to take the edge off because there's this girl I really like who's coming over later, but I think I'm gonna wait. I think I'm gonna save it all for her. And she's just like, oh, okay. So he like leaves. She finishes up work, And then, yeah, she goes to his house and he's got like nothing but a towel on. And what's funny is he was like, oh, we're going to go to this ice cream place to get this big ice cream sundae thing that they have that's new that I want to try. And then we'll come home and do stuff. And then she like walks in. He goes, we're not getting ice cream.
He walks in and he's like, why are you wearing so much clothes?
Yeah, he's like, did I not tell you what we were doing?
You're doing?
Was I not clear?
It's like, I don't know. I mean, I got mixed signals last time.
Right? So yeah, they finally do it. And it's everything she ever wanted.
Okay.
And then there is a part in his book before they get to this point, like, so how we said that, you know, she bought a new toy and all that kind of stuff and has been looking at porn. He's been doing the same thing. He went and got like a flashlight that he kept in like a box in his garage.
That is so cute.
He mounts it to his like dining room table so it'll be at like a perfect height for him to like thrust into his table.
Okay.
He doesn't leave it there. He does take it to
imagine coming over and I'm like, what's that, bud? What's that over there?
Did you clean that good when you were done?
You doing some redecorating or?
But yeah, so he's basically been like out of his mind, horned up for her, like just as badly as she has been for him.
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, I think he showed great restraint when they finally do have sex.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good for them.
Yeah. She does eventually get a job interview for a job in her field.
Yes.
Because she's an art history major, but she specialized in, I don't know, something with like old architecture and whatnot.
Antiquities.
And they have like a bunch of like old historical homes in this area or whatever. So she gets a job interview working with like the historical whatever foundation for the area, and she gets the job.
Oh, yeah.
And she keeps the job at the milking farm, just less hours because she can't just let anyone milk her cow.
Her Minotaur.
Her
bull.
Wait, he still goes even though they're dating?
Well, yeah, because she's the one that's doing the milking.
And it's like a thing, it's like an extra thing that they do. Like, you'll see that even married bull people go because they're like, I think one guy says that, you know, like, I'm trying to pay for our wedding.
Yeah. They're trying to pay for a wedding
trying to make
and
the
a
extra
house.
money. Yeah.
Oh.
So it's just extra like income that they can get to try to like for expenses.
That's so weird. I don't know if I would like my boyfriend paying me like that.
I don't know if he still tips her after they start dating.
But
there is
still, it's
I
just
will
like,
say
we're dating. Why would you still do this?
extra money.
It's like, why would you see me at work?
money.
Like now it's like porn stars. Like there's like work sex and then there's like non-work sex.
This is true. This is true.
And it's like, if my partner like came to me for work sex, I'd be like, ugh, I'm tired. Like, what are you doing here?
In her defense, she loves it. Like she really enjoys.
Good for her.
She really enjoys the job.
Yeah.
Like I said, with all the other like Minotaurs, like it's not sexual for her in any way.
Yeah.
The only ones that it's really sexual for are like the happy little cows or the good little cows.
Yeah.
Or whatever that want the role playing part of it. But he's completely comfortable with her like working there. He encourages her to stay there, and like it's really funny. They get like membership perks. And so like he at one point she comes to his house and he's like mowing the lawn and she's like, "What the fuck are you wearing?" And it's a shirt that says like Mega Milker.
Oh my
He's
god.
like, I got it with my reward tier for how much I've donated or whatever. They have like a rewards program.
Oh my god.
And when they do it too, like he's getting like loop and she can smell it and she goes, "Did you get that at the farm?"
Yes,
And
he's like, it was also part of a rewards
It's part of our
See, and then then I'd be like, no, we can't use it because then I'm thinking of work.
Well, what's funny is she's like, use a little extra. It starts off blah blah blah, but then it he's like, okay.
Yeah, like because like that smell would just I'm like, damn it, no, we need
Right.
another smell.
Okay. And get this. Get this. So anytime one of these bulls like comes anywhere other than at the milking facility, like they have these packets of this enzyme that they have to like pour over their stuff because it will clog drains and it will fuck up like washing machines. So they have like this powder enzyme stuff that has been created to help break it down so it can go through the drains and not fuck up anything.
Those jerk off socks must be so stiff.
Well, it's like the first time they do it and whatever, like he pulls out and of course it all comes back out because it's like 24 ounces worth of freaking cum.
No,
And he's like, oh man, like my bed sheets are like water resistant, but I should have put down some towels. I'm like, oh my god.
No. I mean, okay. No hate to men and their anatomy and what comes out of them. Because I know, but like 24 fluid ounces.
Oh, that's another thing we left out. So when she comes, I think it's the first appointment after he's been with Stiff Grip Sally for 3 weeks or whatever, or 3 times. He fills up more than just one bottle. Usually they only fill up one bottle, and she has to fill up 2 bottles because he was not getting that good of a release or whatever with the other chick.
Oh.
It was either that time or there is a point in time in their relationship when they start dating that he does halt any visits to the farm because he doesn't need the money. So he's like, while I'm getting to know you, I'm not going to go. So we have some kind of separation, or whatever. But then, yeah, he ends up resuming him eventually and having her as his tech. But yeah, one of the times he fills up more than one bottle.
Yeah.
I'm just like, goodness gracious. I can't imagine.
It's like, I don't know if y'all seen that gif of the little gingerbread man just being like drowned in icing.
I have not.
It's like the little gingerbread man from Shrek, and he's just like,
oh my god,
just, like drowning in icing from a piping bag, and the little gingerbread man's like, "Yay!"
Yep, nope, that's exactly this. I'm gonna have to remember that so I can make it part of our
that
stuff.
Oh, that would be so sticky.
Oh my god, can you imagine? It's so thick that it will fuck up your pipes if you let it go down the shower drain. Like, what?
God. Yeah.
No comment.
I also like in his book, there are multiple times where he has like kind of like these little imaginary bulls on his shoulders, like the devil and the angel, like ones that are like, the angel one's like, no, don't do anything yet, blah, blah, blah. And the devil one's like, get her in bed now. Get it.
Yeah. It's like she could not be more ready. Like, why are you stalling?
Oh my god. I'm trying to think if I've left anything out. Elaine, what do you have to add?
Oh, they do. She does send him a
Yeah.
like a sexy photo.
Uh-huh.
I think he's gonna be gone for 2 weeks on a work trip, and she sends him a photo, and then we find out in Blue Ribbon that he sends her a photo.
Yep.
I think when he comes back.
Well, that's nice.
That's really cute.
I will say I'm very disappointed. The night that they finally like do it, they are supposed to have a reservation at the vampire restaurant that Gillis works at,
Uh-huh.
and they don't ever discuss it in either book. And I'm
No,
like,
yeah.
Oh, so just
because she shows up and he's like, you know, or at some point they're talking and it's like, you know, okay, you know, bring your bag, you're gonna stay at my place, and then, you know, we'll do it, and then we'll take a nap because like the reservation's for like midnight or some crazy shit or whatever. And then yeah, it never has the dinner at the restaurant. It just cuts
I
to like
mean,
a different time.
Yeah.
I would need food.
Right? Well, it's supposed to be like this really
Especially, like,
interesting restaurant and stuff. So I was very curious to see how it was going to like play out. But yeah, never had
Yeah.
it.
Carbs, proteins. We need all of that.
Right?
after.
We need to replenish.
I mean, if they have some IV drips, you know, like give me that.
Let's see. Oh, that was.
Oh,
You go first.
what? I was gonna say I do like when Gillis tells Violet, you know, that like because they're talking about Cambric Creek, how there's not too many humans there, but she's like, you notice that the humans that are here are all female.
Yes.
She goes, because you're all just a bit curious.
We're all freaky.
Yeah, she's just
Yes.
like you hear about the Naga, like the snake man having two, and then you're just a bit curious, and then you can't go back to humans after that. And there's a firefighter werewolf that goes to, and apparently his family has like
Crazy parties.
crazy parties that like women come to get some
werewolf.
some nodding.
You know what? We're real tired of human men, for one.
Honestly, when it
And
said that part, I
then-
was like, ooh, sign me up for that party.
Yeah.
And then, you know, too, like, why not?
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I bet you would see like a lot of queer people there. And if it was a real life thing, you'd probably see a lot of queer people.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's a very diverse town, like different creatures, and they talk about how it's crazy how they make it work. Like there's
Mm-hmm.
because you have like the human towns, and sometimes like I think Roke lived in like a town where it was just Minotaurs, I think, on the edge of like human towns.
Mm-hmm.
But Camridge Creek, it's like it's like a collection of different species, and so it's really cool.
So the Minotaurs are just a male species? Like there's no women Minotaurs?
So there are female ones, but they don't have the like bull gene, so to speak. So like
Okay.
his grandma is human, like fully human. But it says, I think in his book, I can't remember which book, but it says like if a male is born, he's a Minotaur. If it's
Okay.
female, she comes out more humanoid, but will have like a different kind of bone structure to be able to carry like a Minotaur baby and things like
Okay.
that. So like I think he he talks to one of the other Minotaurs that's there, and he's like, oh yeah, like I'm I'm married or we're engaged or something. It's the guy that was like trying to save up to buy a house and like wedding and all that kind of stuff. And he's like, oh, like, is your girlfriend or fiance bullish? And he's like, yeah, she's like part of the community or whatever. So like both her parents like were part of the Minotaur family and whatnot.
They're like Klingons.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
Well, like, and he even makes a point to say it's either him or it's L'Oreal, because like L'Oreal's an elf and she's dating an orc, but apparently like in elf culture, like mixed species relationships they're not like disproving of it, but they're kind of frowned upon because like, you know, your objective should be to like continue the elf line. But if you aren't with an elf, then you're obviously not going to continue like a elf line and whatnot.
Yeah.
So she gets a little shit from her family and things like that. But I can't remember if it's her, if it's Rorik, or if it's Cash. Someone mentions like, oh, like the Minotaurs, like they don't care. Like you could have same-sex relationships or heterosexual relations. Like they don't give a shit. you could be with a human, you could be with somebody else of another species. They don't care. But the elves are very particular and picky about continuing on their lineage or whatever.
Well, you know how elves are.
Right? I will say there was a few points where I was 100% convinced this was going to end in some kind of pregnancy.
I'm kind of glad it didn't.
It didn't. And there's like a point where she's like, oh, like she'll see like kids in Cambridge while she's like shopping around. And she's like, oh, I wonder what like our kids would look like and stuff like that. But then she goes, but not for like another like, you know, decade or so. And I'm like, great, she's going to get pregnant before this is over. But she didn't.
No.
They didn't mention though, like the birth control. Like, does regular human birth control protect you from Minotaur stuff?
Oh yeah, just
Considering how potent it is,
right? It never covers any of that.
Yeah, it never does.
I've read some, you know, interspecies romance books, and like I guess depending on the lore, like the one I just read with the gargoyle, the Maid Marian one seducing the sheriff of Nottingham. Gargoyles and humans can't have babies because gargoyles like aren't, you know, quote real. I mean, they're real, but they're like they're not reproduce in the same way that other species reproduce. Like you carve a gargoyle and then you bring it to life, and that's how they're made.
Okay.
So they can't have children. But in other, because there was like one book I read, it was between a human and like a angel, I guess. He's like a human with I don't know what, he's an avian. Like he has you know, bird wings and pointed ears, and you know they're a species, and but they can't have like a biracial child,
a bi-species,
of course. Yeah, a bi-species child. But then, you know, like we get stuff like Clickania, where some of those guys are like really alien looking, and they can have kids with humans.
Yep.
I think it just depends on the author and their preference.
Yep. No, totally.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for this journey.
You're welcome. I'm sure I'll think of something I wish I had added.
You should add at some point, I don't know, if, like a cartoon of Catherine the Great from Russia. Oh wait, no, she has sex with a horse. Never mind.
Oh my god.
Oh, but no, like the original like story of the Minotaur. Who was it? It was in Circe. Remember?
I didn't read it.
We haven't read it yet.
What? Oh no, you read Song of Achilles.
Yeah, Elaine read Song of
Yeah.
Achilles. Yeah.
Song of
Okay,
Achilles.
no. I mean, this isn't like a spoiler because it's in the Greek lore.
Yeah, no.
Like,
he talks about
yeah.
the Minotaur, and he's like, it's very sexual.
like
though.
the woman dressed up as a cow and got impregnated by a bull. So she
Interesting.
was like, yeah. Gosh, it was one of Circe's sisters. I forgot her name, but it's Ariadne's mom. But yeah, like I think she got put under a spell and dressed up as a cow so she could have sex with a bull, and the bull got her pregnant. And Circe was like the one who like birthed the Minotaur.
Okay.
And then they made the maze, and so like the Minotaur is actually like Ariadne's brother.
Okay. That's funny. Yeah, he doesn't
They
talk
did
about
talk about how
Oh, go ahead.
how they're
said the exact
descendants
same thing.
of some Minotaur god
Yeah.
in the book. I don't
Yeah.
remember what god.
He talks about the original Minotaur. He doesn't say how the original Minotaur
Yeah.
was conceived, but that like the original story was, human women were given to him as sacrifices, but like he didn't eat them. Well,
He just had sex with them.
he ate them, but not in a death kind of way.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
that
yeah.
and that none of them left because, once you've had a Minotaur, can't go back to a human.
You don't go back.
You don't go back.
Oh my god.
But they are so adorable. They fall like so fast for each other, and like she gets that job, she gets the apartment, and he's like, I hope your apartment's like a short lease. And she's like, well, it's only for a year, and then after that it's month to month. And he's like, perfect. He goes, don't even unpack everything. Like he's like, I'm ready for you to like live with me.
Well, that's nice. Well, good for her. At least someone found somebody.
And I feel like she even like she tells her mom because she's worried about, how her parents are going to take it.
Yeah.
Because they're from a human town, and her mom was trying to hook her up with like the neighbor's son who just came back home to live with his mom because he got divorced. She's like, yeah, that sounds like a great prospect, Mom.
Yeah.
No.
And so,
No thanks.
yeah. She's just like, I'm good. But yeah, she tells her like, oh, I've got a job interview, and like, oh, I'm dating somebody. And she's like, oh, is it someone from school? And she's like, no, I met him at work.
It's my friend from work.
Yeah. Or I met him through work or something. And like, because her parents obviously don't know what she does at the farm.
Yeah.
But
Like,
she
I'm
tells
just a technician.
Exactly. And she tells her mom like, oh, he's a Minotaur. And her mom's just like, oh, okay. But I thought it was freaking adorable. Elaine, do you have anything else you want to add?
Mm-hmm.
I was just going through my notes again, make sure.
Nope,
I think I covered
I don't
them.
think so.
I think we got it.
Yeah.
Let's
I
see.
think we covered everything.
So we've got Elaine's review, which I think is going to be almost exactly the same as mine.
100% recommend both books. I love them both. I went in like not expecting to enjoy it as much as I did.
Yeah, same.
Honestly, from the title Morning Glory Milking Farm, I thought it would be like a breeding kink.
I thought
thing.
it was going to be too.
So I'm glad it wasn't.
Yeah, no, I totally thought that's what
Yeah.
it was going to be, especially with like, I mean, you know what they're doing. I think if you read the actual description of the book.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it was going to totally be a breeding thing. But my review, I said I would definitely recommend both of these books. I went in thinking they would be like funny and at the very least entertaining, but I ended up absolutely loving them. They were sexy, spicy, funny, and adorable. And
yay,
we get a little teaser at the end of Morning Glory Milking Farm in the audiobook of whatever book is with the a Mothman.
Ooh.
And so, which like I was telling Elaine, I was like, I don't know, moths freak me out.
Maybe this is how you get over them.
I am scared of moths. But other than there is a lot of ball description and ball play, which I don't think you're particularly fond of, Liana. So other than that, there's a lot of like his ball slapping against her and stuff like that. Or like it is mentioned more than once about how much she loves that. And when he's at the farm for his appointment and she's, he's ready to blow, so she puts the nozzle on him. She starts playing with his balls to help milk him.
I'm not opposed to any ball play.
No, I know, but it is in it a lot.
Yeah,
it's just the the auditory sensation being described.
I see.
Kind of takes me out of it.
I see.
Like we know, we know what balls do.
Well, other than the extensive descriptions of that, I think you probably would have enjoyed these.
Okay. Just like, all right.
Ah, fuck, I love it.
We acknowledge it, but some stuff that
I don't mind it in the books, but it was funny. Like every time it brought up, I was like, "Ooh, Liana, probably this might be a little too much."
Look, we all know what happens during sex, and if we think about it too much, we can't. We can't think about it too much, because then you're just out of it. We just have to carry on as if some things aren't happening.
That's funny.
And then we'll never bring it up.
Never mention it.
Yeah, never mention it. Be a gentleman.
We do not speak of this.
I was gonna say, like, all those there's like that trend where women were asking men, like, in doggy style, do you stare at the butthole? All these women were like scandalized, like, oh my god. And guys were like, where else would I look? And then women were like, okay, that's it, I know too much. It's like, yeah, we just don't talk about it.
Just don't think about it. Don't talk about it. Don't think about it. It's fine.
Don't talk about it. Don't think about it. Just carry on.
Oh, that's great.
They call it the brown starfish.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
The brown starfish. Lord have mercy. I don't think I've ever heard that.
It's like, women, don't ask questions we don't want answers to.
Well, listeners, I hope y'all all learned something new today as well.
And on that note,
do we have any updates? Anything else we want to add to this episode?
No. I'm good.
All right. As always, thank you, listener, for joining us. Please rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast. Follow us on our socials. We are Book Talk Babes Pod on Instagram and TikTok, and Book Talk Babes on Goodreads and StoryGraph. Please email us topics, questions, and book recommendations to booktalkbabespod@gmail.com or DM us on any of our socials. Everything is listed in the description. Have a lovely day and week. Until next time. Bye.
Bye.